Hey, how you doing? So I'm ready to do my next diary entry. Um, I had to take some time to think about my thoughts. So, anyways, I'm ready to put thoughts to video. But first, girl, check out the hair. You did something new. Okay, period. So a um I found a natural hair salon and I went and I got my first flexi rod set. I think it's really cute. I feel like you can't really see it because it's like it's not a like a it's not a one color background, so my hair is kind of like blending out or fading into the background, but it's really cute and I really like it. Um so yeah. So what I want to talk about was that you turned 25. Yeah, so you're 25 now, and 25 it's been an interesting couple of months. And what's been really on my mind is the idea of loss, because for the last couple of birthdays, it doesn't feel like you have. You've kind of lost people that you felt a very strong connection with, and yeah, this 25, it's the quarter of a century, it's a big birthday. I don't know, and I guess like that's when you're a real adult. Like I can rent a car now, so there's nothing I can't do now. And it just got me to thinking about things, and like I always say, like I can't wait to actually have enough money to go to therapy, because these are things that I will obviously talk out with my therapist, but since I ain't got no therapist yet, girl, it's just me and you. So the thing about loss, right? So, turning 25, I mean, your 21st birthday was great. Really had a good time. But there are patterns that I'm noticing within us that trigger certain behaviors and feelings that lead to unhealthy coping mechanisms, I guess. And so this is just a conversation about those patterns, I guess. So what I realize about losing people for me is that it triggers this part of me or this part of my brain that feels fundamentally flawed in a way. And it triggers that feeling or part of my brain that tells me or makes me feel that I'm disposable, and because I have this part of me that feels fundamentally flawed in some way, and then when situations in my life happen that essentially give me fuel to support said narrative, it creates very helpless, dark spaces in me. And so I'm realizing that I do that. That things happen to me, I lose people, or people get mad at me, and then they don't want to talk to me, or they walk out my life, and every time that happens, the same feeling just overcomes me of not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy enough, not feeling like I'm a good person, and just all these really bad, harmful, just unhealthy thoughts start to flood me. And the good thing is that I'm 25 now, and I recognize these patterns. I recognize when someone's tipping around in my minefield and about to set something off. And this last time, it set it off, but I'm proud of myself because I was able to recognize what was happening, what triggered those thoughts. And I'm proud of myself enough to say that I'm working through that. And so one of the things I realized is that because, this part of my brain makes me feel fundamentally flawed. Then someone leaves me, it's like, well, see, they left you because you're fundamentally flawed. They left you because you're disposable. And so then all these feelings come. But what I realized was I can make a mistake, and I'm never going to be a perfect person. I'm always going to make mistakes. And sometimes people walking away from me has nothing to do with me. But, and all those things may be true, but none of those things make me disposable, And the thing is, I feel like because I'm so afraid of making a mistake, every time I do and somebody has some adverse reaction to it, I'm always like in myself, I'm like, see, see, I told you you're disposable. Here's an example of why you are. You're just not good enough. You're not worthy enough. And I realized that I can't do that to myself because I'm setting myself up to fail. If you think that in order for people not to walk away from you, in order for people to want to stay in your life, you have to be perfect and do everything right and say everything right, you're going to always feed that part of your brain that tells you you're not worthy, because you're setting this unrealistic expectation for yourself. And despite what your relationships are with other people, the relationship you have with, me and you, we have to come to some understanding, some solid ground that you're not perfect and you're going to make a mistake. And that even if you do make a mistake and people do leave you, or people do make a decision not to be in your life, doesn't mean that you're disposable. It does not mean that you're not a good person. It does not mean that you don't deserve good things. You are a good thing, And so with all that, it gets to the point where it's like, before my history is, once I feel those feelings and I feel like, somebody thinks I'm disposable or I'm not good enough, my initial reaction is that I need to work harder. And now that whole thing about I need to work harder is obviously my family of origin. It's the way I was socialized to, like, if a door doesn't like come down, you need to just work harder to get the door down, or like go around it or go through a window. Like, you need to do something. And I'm realizing that also doesn't help, because again, that just feeds that part of me, that part of my brain that's like, you're not good enough, you're disposable, you're not worthy, so work harder. And again, it's an unobtainable level of expectation, because when it comes to other human beings, other people you're going to have a relationship with, there's nothing you can do that's going to change someone wanting to be in your life. That's the first thing, right? And so the second thing is, just because you made a mistake or you did something wrong doesn't mean that people should hold it against you, or like somehow make you feel like the mistake you made was just, the most awful thing. And that's not your decision to make, because some mistakes to some people are the most awful thing, and that's okay, but you don't deserve to be in relationships with people where they hold that against you, and they're not giving you the benefit of the doubt or whatever. And that also made me realize that I have again this unhealthy relationship with people who can emotionally detach from people very quickly. Now, granted, I'm still like, maybe that's a healthy way, and maybe what I am able to or not able to do is just unhealthy, but I am not able to detach my feelings, or I'm not able to create very strong, clear-cut boundaries with people. Like once they do something, I'm just like, I'm done. And it's very hard for me to feel apathetic about people. And I've had that before, and it just, I think it's okay. I get to the age where I think it's okay to just say that like some things they just don't work with your spirit. And having people be apathetic about me and just very like, you know, unfazed or unmoved by me, it doesn't help. Like, it doesn't help that part of my brain, because it immediately triggers that you're disposable thing, where it's like that person something happen to you tomorrow and they would probably be like, that sucks, and move on with their day, you know? And so essentially, like, yeah, like, you're gonna make mistakes, but, you know, you deserve to be around people who give you grace. You deserve to have people in your life who give you the benefit of the doubt. And this is not you asking for a lot, because this is simply asking for something that you're able to give. Like, you're a very forgiving person. You're a very benefit of the doubt. You're very, like, you know, you're more likely to try to see the good in people. And I don't know. I don't think that's always a bad thing, you know? And someone told me recently, you know, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. And he used it in a way to essentially kind of support what decision he was making. And I think that it's okay to let someone feel that, you know, like, it's okay to let people feel that. And it doesn't have to be something that you feel. I think people can change. I think we're evolving. I think people sometimes make honest mistakes. I think that as a 25-year-old, we have so much history and just life stuff behind us. And when someone's genuinely trying and when they're really putting in a good effort, they're not always going to get it right. You know, they might really get it really wrong. But it's okay to believe that someone made a mistake, and believe that, like, people can grow and people can change. And the first thing that you see from somebody is not who they really are. Like, you know, so I guess this is a conversation between you and I to get some understanding about our own relationship, our relationship with each other. Because what I'm learning at 25 is that people are very set in their ways. Like, people are very set in their ways. And I don't know, lately I've been like looking at a lot of like love stories. You know, I love a good romance. And that's the thing about being 25 and like trying to start relationships, whether it's friends, romantic, anything, is that people can be really set in their ways, and they can be really set on seeing things the way they want to see them, you know? And I guess, Andrea, I'm saying, like, you can't let that affect how you see you, you know? And just because someone says something about you doesn't make it true, doesn't make it right. Like, what do you know about you? Like, what do you really feel about you? And like I said before, you're not disposable, and you deserve good things. You are a good thing, but you're not perfect, and you're never going to be perfect. And you don't have to try. Like, you don't have to try to be perfect, and it's okay to make a mistake. You know, it's okay to not have to feel like you always have to try. You always have to exert yourself to make someone want to stay with you. Like, you don't have to do that to be loved. Like, and I think that's the point that I'm learning. Like, I don't have to go over and beyond. I don't have to extend myself at the expense of myself just to get somebody to love me, just to get somebody to stay and to stick it out, you know? And that comes to the other thing, that's this new challenge of doing nothing. That is hard. Like, I realize how much I do and how much energy I put into making my relationships work, and how much time I spend trying to be intentional, trying to be proactive, trying to you know, do the best I can to make my relationships be successful. But I think it's okay to recognize when that work is needed and is necessary and is fruitful. I think that's a good one when it's fruitful, and when that work is not. Like, it's not going to change anything. And it's hard for me to just do nothing. Like, to accept that there's nothing else I can do. There's nothing else I can say. And just do nothing, you know? And like even with communication, like, this week has been really hard, man, because like I've been like waiting for someone to like text me or like call me or whatever, and it hasn't happened. And the whole week I've been fighting the urge, like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna keep reaching out, and I'm gonna keep trying to talk, and I'm gonna keep trying to like help the situation, explain. And like, even though over apologizing is oh god, it's such a big fucking, oh my god, sorry, it's such a big trauma response for me. And like, I always do that. Like, I over apologize. I'm over just I don't have to do it. You don't have to do that. Like, you don't. And so just do nothing, I think, is the thing that I'm working with now. It's hard. Like, and it's funny because like, I really do pride myself mostly on not letting my personal life interfere with my work life. But yeah, this week was, I mean, talk about unproductive. This is such an unproductive week, and it was really because my personal life was just like, I don't know. And so I think also giving yourself that type of grace to just be like, sometimes you're gonna have an off week, and it's okay to sit through that. And you don't always have to be doing something. It's okay to just let your feelings be hurt. And I think I've said this before, but it's not always about whether someone likes you, you know? It's a two-way street. Like, and I'm learning that for professional life. Like, I'm about to go into the workforce. Like, it's not always about, you getting this job. Like, or these employers picking you. Like, you have the right to pick this employer too. It's not always about someone else. It's not always about someone choosing you, deeming you worthy, thinking that you're good enough. You are good enough. Period. You are just good enough. And it's not always, the ball is not always in someone else's court to decide whether or not you deserve to be with someone, or you deserve to be in a relationship. Like, you don't. Like, and even when you make a mistake, that ball is not always just in their court. You don't have to just wait around to finally have somebody decide that you're good enough and that you are worthy enough. Like, no one has that right to give that to you or take that away from you. No matter what happens, no matter what you do, what mistake you make, nobody has that right. So don't give people that right. Don't give people that power to do that to you. And it's okay to say that I don't like the way someone's going about this. Like, I know I made a mistake, but I still deserve grace. I still deserve love. And I think two things can be true at the same time, and it's okay to want to be with people who see that, like, some things aren't set in stone and some things are weird, and it's okay to like figure them out, and your history doesn't have to dictate everything that you do, everything that you feel. Like, I think 25 is about, thinking about what's possible and this new level of existence for me. Like, I think that's the whole theme of this diary, is like, it's possible for me to be a new version of myself. It's possible for me to make a mistake and still be worthy. It's possible for someone to stay around, stick it out with me through all my 25 years of life stuff. I'm worthy for someone to take a chance on me, as I figure stuff out. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. This is 20 minutes, girl. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I just want to say I love you as always. And it was an off week. Next week might be off too, but you're here, you're making it, you're 25. Very thankful for that. So yeah, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.